Okay, we have a verbal agreement, but I would still like my attorney to check it out. So it looks like they are trying to make a mockery of the situation. They have a verbal agreement as well as somebody will check. Or maybe to make it doubly sure, so it's a lighter vein, right? We'll go back. Contract Act. So capacity of what? Capacity of the party means you might think like people having a lot of cash. Capacity, right? In Tamil we say capacity power. He's got a lot of capacity. Capacity means not money capacity. No. Right. It is not. It's all talking about many things. Like there's somebody is in jail. You see the bottom. There are all chota guys, boys. Right? So those things. There are three tests that must be applied to determine whether a person is competent to contract or not. First is whether he is of majority, whether he is of sound mind, whether he is not disqualified from contract. If all situations are yes, then the person is fit to be contracting. If any one is no, he is gone. Right? That's what the right side situation depicts. Agreement with a minor. A minor is a person who has not attained a majority. Majority can be defined in two situations. Indian Majority Act, Section 3. Where a guardian or a minor person or property is appointed under a guardian and wards act. There are three situations. One is minor, two situations. One is Majority Act and the other is Guardian and Wards Act. So, if there is a guardian appointed in 21 years, where a minor has passed under superintendence of court of wards, then 21 years. Any other situation it is. So if there is no court or any guardian or whatever, so if there is no guardian appointed or whatever, it's all 18 years. Possession agreements by a minor. What happens if you agree with a minor? The law protects minors' rights because they are not mature enough. They may not possess the capacity to judge what is good and bad is bad for them. It's normal, right? The possession of agreements with all by a minor may be summarized as under. Law protects minors because they are not mature enough, very clear. And they don't know what is good, what is bad. So what is the position now? One, validity. No estoppel. We'll study what is estoppel. In case of fraudulent misrepresentation of age by minor, what happens? Ratification on attaining the age of majority. Validity of minor's agreement jointly with a minor person, major person. There are two persons, one is major, one is minor. Or there may be one minor and many other majors. Minor as a partner, minor as an agent, minor as a shareholder or a member of company, minor as an insolvent, contract for the benefit of minor, contract by minor's guardian, contract for supply of necessities, minor's liability in tort. Tort means small crimes. Validity. What is that validity? An agreement by a minor is what? Ab initio. Ab initio means first of all, first itself it is gone. It is not valid, void. முதல் கோணல் தமிழில் ab initio, void ab initio. D, a minor, borrowed a sum from M by executing a mortgage of his property in favor of M. Subsequently, D sued for getting aside the mortgage. The Privy Council held that Sections 10 and 11 of the Indian Contract Act make the minors' agreement void, and therefore mortgage was not valid. M prayed for refund of the amount by the minor. It was held that amount advanced to a minor can never be recovered because minor's agreement itself is void. Estoppel. Estoppel is a legal principle that bars a party from denying or alleging a certain fact owing to the party's previous conduct. Maybe 10 days back you would have told something. So you are held responsible. You cannot say I don't know. So that is previous conduct will hold now also. முன் செய்த வினை தொடர்ந்து வருங்கிற மாதிரி whatever you did earlier will come back haunting you. That's called estoppel situation. Allegation, denial. The minor is not estopped from setting up a plea of minority. He may plead infancy to escape from being liable. So what happens is minor cannot say I was minor earlier. That way you cannot do. In Bimappa Metti vs Balang Gowda Biman Gowda, Bombay High Court held where an infant represents fraudulently or otherwise is of age, is a major, thereby induces another to enter into a contract with him, he in an action founded on the contract is not disturbed from setting up infancy. Normally estoppel means old situation. If you did something earlier, you cannot, you are bound. But in the case of minor, you are not bound. Fraudulent representation of age by minor. According to Section 30 and 33 Specific Relief Act, in case of a fraudulent misrepresentation of his age by the minor inducing other party to enter into a contract, court may award compensation to the other party. Lahore High Court in Khan Gul versus Lakha Singh held that where the contract is set aside, the status quo ante should be restored and the court may direct the minor on equitable grounds to restore the money or property to the other party if the money or property could be traced. What is it saying? If the minor fraudulently represents the age wherein he is inducing the other party to enter into a contract, court may award compensation to the other party. So, minor, if you are entering a contract with minor, that is different, but minor inducing you, then court may say the other way. Lahore High Court in Khan Gul versus Lakha Singh held where the contract is set aside, status quo ante should be restored. The court may direct the minor on equitable grounds to restore the money or property to the other party if the money or property had been traced. Normally, court will not direct minors, but in case of fraudulent representation of age, court may direct. That's the idea. Ratification of attaining the age of majority. The agreement with the minor cannot be ratified. Ratify means if it is still October, yet ratify means extend it. Ratified means extending it, even after attains a majority. Ratification relates back to the date of making an agreement and therefore agreement which was then void cannot be made valid by subsequent ratification. Earlier it is void, now it is not valid. So that situation cannot be there. In Indran Ramasamy versus Handoyappa, a person on attaining majority gave a promissory note in satisfaction of one executed by him for money borrowed when he was a minor. It was held that Claim under the promissory note could not be enforced because there was no consideration. Where it's minor. Validity of minor's agreement jointly with a major person. The agreement made by minor jointly with the major person are void vis-a-vis the minor but can be enforced against the major person who was jointly promised to perform. So if you join with a minor, you may be held liable. Minor as a partner. A minor cannot become a partner in a partnership firm. However, according to Section 30 of the Indian Partnership Act, with the consent of all partners for the time being, be admitted to the benefits of the partnership. In other words, you can share the profit without incurring any personal liability. Very simple. Minor can enjoy the benefit, need not work. Normally cannot become a partner, but benefits of partnership are allowed. Benefit means the good things. Minor as an agent. Minor can act as an agent and bind his principal facts by his acts without incurring any personal liability. Right? This you know, normally it happens. Minor as a shareholder or member of a company. Minor can become a shareholder or member. Shares are fully paid up and the articles of association do not prohibit. Fourth is a very important point. Minor cannot be declared as insolvent because in the first place he could not contract. He is not in his capacity to contract. Contract for the benefit of a minor. A minor can be a promisee. Somebody else can give money to minor. Raghavacharya vs. Srinivasa, Madras High Court held that mortgage executed in favor of a minor who has advanced the mortgage money is enforceable by him by any other person on his behalf. Contract by a minor's guardian. Guardian may contract on behalf of minor, but it is for the benefit. If it is within the scope of authority, you can contract, or if it is for the benefit of the minor. Both situations, you can contract on behalf of minor. Supply of necessities. What is supply of necessities? Dress, food, all that. Right? A person who has supplied the necessaries to a minor or to those who are dependent on him is entitled to reimburse from the property of the minor. The term necessities include articles required to maintain particular person in a normal state, degree and station of life in which he is. In India, food, clothing, shelter, education, marriage of a female have been held to be necessaries. In case of Nash vs. Inman, minor bought even 11 fancy coats from in his own use, held that 11 coats at a time cannot be a necessity. The lending of money to a minor for the purpose of defending him in prosecution is deemed to be a service rendered to the minor. Means what? There is a case against the minor, you can defend, that money can be considered as given to the minor. Maybe later you can recover. Claim against property and not against a person. A claim for payment of necessaries supplied can be made against the minor's property, not as against the minor. The parent or guardian of a minor cannot be held liable unless those goods services are applied and rendered to the minor as the agent or guardian. Minor's liability in tort. Tort is civil wrongs, small wrongs. But if in the course of doing what he is entitled to do under a contract, he is found guilty of negligence, he cannot be made liable to it if he is not liable on the contract. In Bernard versus Hughes, a miner hired a horse not to jump it, means riding it. He lent the horse to his friend who used the horse against the instruction and it led to the death of the horse. The miner was held liable on tort. In another case, horse was hired for riding. It was injured due to overriding. The miner could not be held liable since the injury resulted from negligence in the course of what he was entitled to do under the contract. Who is a person of unsound mind? According to Section 12 of the Indian Contract Act, a person is said to be of sound mind for the purpose of making a contract if at the time when he is making it is capable of to understand the terms of the contract, form a rational judgment to his effect upon the interest. Thus, if a person is not capable of both, he is said to be suffering from unsoundness of mind.